Hello and welcome to the Party Center Speaks podcast. This is the podcast for family entertainment center and event venue owners, operators, managers, and staffers looking to grow their business. Want to learn more about how to increase party bookings, improve facility operations, and other topics? This is the podcast for you. My name is Laura Cañas, and I'm the marketing manager here at Party Center Software. In this episode, we're going to share audio from our webinar on intentional planning for the new year, a 4-step blueprint to creating your sales and marketing strategy. We hope you enjoy this presentation.
Thank you guys for joining us today. I know that there are a million things that you could be doing right now, and we appreciate that you're taking time out of your day to join us for the webinar. And we'll have this on replay. So if you have to jump off early, or maybe you're watching this on replay right now, we will be sending out the replays tomorrow morning if you're watching live, for those of you that are on with us today. Now, let's introduce our guest expert, our panelist today. Our presenter, Timothy Morgan. He is the founder and marketing coach at Giver Marketing. And just to share a little bit about Tim, he founded his first business in 1993 and quickly realized that a simple and effective marketing strategy was needed to increase revenue. Over the years, he really honed that and implemented a basic marketing system to grow business for thousands of customers. And here he is today. He is now the highest rated and reviewed agency of marketing coaches in the country, and really prides himself on seeing significant revenue increase for his clients in as little as 30 days. His coaching program is a 1-hour commitment per week, which is a total of 4 weeks. He also offers one-to-one coaching, group sessions, and he does a really awesome webinar series as well. He has a Facebook group that he's going to share more with you guys about. And so I am going to be passing it over to Tim. While we pass around rights here, I'm just going to give you some context to today's webinar. Now, today's webinar, obviously intentional planning for the new year. It is almost mid-November already. I don't know where the time has gone. So it's time to start thinking about next year. Of course, it's a great idea to think about this year, but it is an even better idea to start planning for success in sales and marketing for next year. And that is what Tim is going to do with us today for our chat on the 4-step blueprint for your sales and marketing strategy. So Tim is going to be sharing his screen. He's going to be going through this stuff. Again, if you have questions along the way, throw them in that Q&A and let us know.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. And our time together today, hopefully it's going to be very profitable for everybody as we ramp up for 2020. So excited. This next year is going to be great for those who are intentional. And for those who are not, we just pray for them. We just ask that, we just hope that they do well. But we're going to give you some tools and tips today that'll help you. I'm Timothy Morgan, as Rebecca was mentioning. And I'm a marketing coach, so I'm not here necessarily to sell you anything. I'm here to give you value. I'm here to give you something that you can take and right into your business and increase effectiveness and results immediately. And we're looking for more than visitors, right? I mean, we're looking for a blueprint and a proven strategy for outreach to our audience to make sure that we're targeting and communicating with those that we want to see come visit our FECs, and make sure that we're doing a great job at communicating to our community, really. And at the end of the day, I'm a coach, so my privilege is to draw out the potential within you and your team. And we're going to have some poll questions for you. I want you to answer those questions so that I can get a better idea of how to really coach you in taking your business to another level when it comes to marketing. We got the PCS software. We have the ability to, book the parties and events and make sure that those are all happening well. And we have a database to work with. But now, what do we do with that database? How do we make sure that we can connect with those people that have shown interest or visited our business? There's going to be a few homework assignments for you. And those homework assignments can be posted in the Giver Marketing private group page. You can see that link in the lower right corner. I also put it in the chat box. I'll probably put that in the chat box a little bit later as well, but you can take a screenshot of this. This will be your 4 homework assignments for today to help you take your business to another level when it comes to marketing, okay? We focus on marketing, which obviously leads to those sales that we want, all right? Ultimately, our goal is to generate more interest, more attention for our company, and ultimately more visitors. The blueprint at a high level is branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. If you're writing these down, or if you're taking notes, we want to write those down in order, okay? So branding really is the ability for us to showcase our best, and then we have the right then to become visible, and then promote, and then nurture. If you take those out of order, what'll happen is you'll spend a ton of money on marketing, and you won't get the results you want. So you want to start at step 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see in small businesses is they'll do things backwards. So let's jump right into it. So we start with branding. What is marketing anyway? There's so many different definitions. We like to keep it super simple. Marketing is really pre-sales strategy and communication. So ultimately in marketing, we're communicating to our preferred audience. We're not communicating to everybody. We want to communicate to our audience, the audience we want, the people we want coming to our facility, the people we want coming to our business. So let's jump into branding. I know, Rebecca, you have a poll question around branding. And so as that starts coming through and you're answering those questions, ladies and gentlemen, I want to help hone in a little bit of what branding really is. So we just talked about marketing being pre-sales, communication, and strategy. Well, what's branding? What's that piece that we always say, oh, yeah, my brand, I want it to be great. I want it to look, I want to look good. I want to look sharp. Well, that's good. That's a part of it. But your brand is much more than your logo. It really represents the sum total of experiences found in the marketplace at your facility that equate to how you carved your reputation. So think experience, right?
So, Tim, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to push those poll questions.
Okay.
Perhaps maybe they might be on your dashboard there when we
All
passed right. So take a look real quick for me.
Maybe pop them in the chat box and let's just have some conversation about it. If you
Sure.
can copy and paste and work around that a little bit. I'd love to hear your responses to those questions that Rebecca has put together. We put together as a team, so we're excited to kind of hear your feedback on that.
I'm going to throw that in the chat right now. So the first question here is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, where do you feel your company falls in terms of branding? So go ahead and throw that in the chat and let us know what your thoughts are.
All right, so if marketing is communication, then branding is how people feel or experience your company. So when you're answering that question, 1 through 10, maybe give yourself a good honest grade of how people are experiencing your company as a whole. And when you think about branding, think about clarity, creativity, consistency. How are people feeling when they're experiencing not only your imagery, but the people that you hired, the actual facility itself, even how they found your facility to begin with. A good checklist is really the 5 senses. And we found this to be extremely helpful. If we were just to think through, okay, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. When somebody walks in to our location, what are they experiencing? Does it feel more like a great experience from the very beginning, even before they, right when they get to the parking lot or wherever they are? Does it feel like Disneyland, or does it feel like a mortuary? Does it feel like something that's alive right from the beginning, or does it feel that like it needs to have some improvement? And that's really where we want to look at branding as almost like a checklist. What do they see? What are the sounds that are happening? Are there weird, is there construction going on that's not supposed to be happening during certain times of the day? Like just the little things make the hugest difference when it comes to your brand. And so if we can obviously be improving, not perfection, but progress, right? So we're improving on these things every week and every month. By the time we hit 2020, we're going to be dialed in. So I'm excited. Let's talk about video and how it affects your brand for just a minute, because it's becoming so important. Some are saying it's anywhere from 5 to even 50 times more effective than just the auditory or the visual alone. So when we're talking about online ads later on, and the power of video and all these aspects of our brand, just remember that video is the combination of two of those 5 senses, the sight and the sound, happening at one time. What you're experiencing right now is more effective than if we were on the phone together, correct? And if you can see what we're doing but you can't hear us, it's not as effective if you put it together in a video, right? So our human minds are wired to engage video at a much higher level than just audio or visual. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Any questions or thoughts can be put in the chat box, especially around those questions. And Rebecca, do we have any responses so far around our branding question?
There aren't any questions, but if we want to look at the scale of 1 to 10 for branding and where companies fall, we have 4, 7, 6, 5. Someone said started off as a 1 to 2 and we're getting better and more consistent messaging and service to our guests. Branding for my business, I would believe would be a 7, a 6, 5, a 6. So we've got people kind of hovering in the middle there.
Right. Good. Okay. Place to start. Hey,
absolutely.
Just continually making progress. I mean, some of these companies that we look to as models, they didn't happen overnight, even though the book they just wrote or the publication that they were just featured in showcases them as if they just arrived overnight, but they didn't. It took them 5, 10, 15 years to make this happen and do it really well. So we want to make progress, okay? Here's one of the keys to branding that we're finding extremely interesting, okay? It's capturing attention of a lot of people right now. And that's the art of telling your story in relation to your brand. If you can train yourself first, and then all your team members to share the story of the company inside of your facility, but also in the publications, the magazine articles, the online ads, take a video and just share it. We're going to encourage you to do that in a second. Take a video and just share your story on video and watch it go viral. Just let people start watching it and sharing it. And oh, it's a friend of mine who owns this company and this is how they got started. This is their background. People do business with other people. So we want to have this story element just permeating your brand. Like, for example, a little bit of my background. Yeah, I'd started micro businesses, small businesses back in the 90s, bought, built, sold several of them, but I also worked in the nonprofit world as well as a consultant and also someone who was an influencer in that space. So I really enjoy people. I enjoy connecting with people and causes that make a difference in the world. And that's where my passion for coaching kind of bubbled up, is from those experiences and helping people. So now, because I love the marketing space so much, that's my story and how I got into the space. Started a marketing agency, people started asking for coaching, got super amazing results by doing that. And then voila, we're here talking with you and helping you with your company to make sure that you can do the same thing. Tell your story. Somehow get a 30 to 60 second version of your story. You're telling them at networking groups, at church events, at different community events, in your facility, outside of your facility, online, offline. Share that story. Even in Facebook, there's even a place where you just tell your story. This is your story. And just write it out there as maybe even just an exercise for you, okay? What's good? What's the good pieces of a great story? Well, if nothing else, at least share a little bit of the background with an aha moment. Aha, that's when I knew I wanted to start this company. That's when I knew I wanted to build this FEC, okay? Why in hell you help others? And especially if they want, if there's so much activities happening nowadays that are negative, for you to actually be able to have a place where people are coming with their families, good, clean fun in today's world of craziness, like just to get away from it all and have some fun with the family or with whoever you want, a party or something, then make sure and incorporate that into your story and your passion about why you love doing what you do. All right, so here's your homework in the group page, which I'll put that in the chat box in a second. I'll do that right now if I can here. See if I can share it in the chat box in a minute.
And as you're sharing that, Tim, we did have a question come in from another Tim.
Okay.
What medium is used to tell your story? I know you had mentioned a lot of different places, so this may be a reiteration of that.
So when it comes to your story, what you want to do is you want to start by just memorizing the 30 to 60 second version of it yourself, just verbally, be able to share that. And then what we recommend, and your homework assignment, is to actually take a video of yourself sharing that story, just so you can get feedback from us. And then once you got it fine-tuned, tell it to yourself in the car, tell it to yourself on the way to a networking event or a community event, tell it to yourself on the way to your building, and share it with your team. Hey guys, this is why we got this company started. This is the story behind our brand. This is why we're here. And it also incorporates right into your vision, right? So if you can share that verbally and then on video, that's a great start. I'm having trouble getting into the chat box just as I'm presenting for some reason. If someone could type in that link that's in the lower right corner into the chat box, I really appreciate that. That way people can get feedback on their homework assignments.
Sure, you actually did get it in there.
Oh, did I earlier? Okay.
Yeah, no, just now, it's good to go.
Oh, thank you.
We'll keep repasting it for you though.
Thank you guys. So if we do that, then what'll happen is that's an invite only group. So I'll go through and give you access to that page so you can have some group coaching really from our team and others and get feedback from your homework assignments. Okay.
I got one more question for you, Tim.
Yeah.
So someone's wondering, if you are not the owner or the one who got the facility going, but were brought on to help with sales and marketing, how can you approach this?
Great question. That's a really good question. When you come on as a part of a marketing team or an outreach team of some kind, a business development team within the company, you want to sit down with the owners of the company and just feel their story. Like literally sit with them at lunch and say, I just want to know the story of how this company became so great and what it is now, and so we can take it to another level even. And I tell you what, you do that as a marketing professional and you got gold stars all over the place, because you're going to be able to wrap the story with the vision, with the marketing, and it's just going to be magnetic for the company. Okay. Especially if you have that passion that's handed down from the originators or the owners of the business. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Visibility. Donna raised her hand. She has a question. So when Donna, how do you want to handle that, Rebecca?
I'm not sure. Donna, you'll have to throw it in the chat for us or throw it in the Q&A, throw us your question. And in the meantime, since our poll is for whatever reason malfunctioning, I'm just going to post the question in the chat as well. Our question for you as we go into this section on visibility is a really fun one. How fast could someone find you online if all they had was partial information about your facility? So maybe they only had they only knew the name of your facility, a little piece of it, maybe one piece or two pieces, or they knew the first part of your name and the city or something like that. How long do you think it would take for them to find you? Would it take seconds? It would come up immediately in Google? Would it take minutes? Do you have no idea at all? Post your thoughts on what you think, how long it would take.
Great question. Good. And one funny way to think about visibility, ladies and gentlemen, is branding. It basically gives you the right to go public. So visibility is how people find you because you're now public in online. Even your physical location is a part of your visibility. Sign waivers and different advertising that you do, it kind of ties into visibility. But at the end of the day, the question that you're asking is how quickly can people find us? It's not how great our facility is necessarily at this point. It's how they find us and how they can get to us. So one way to think about it is we don't go outside dressed in our pajamas. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that we're dialed in from a branding perspective, and then we go visible. All right. So can you be found? Try to find yourself online. There's something called an incognito or a guest mode search on your computer. Some gamers out there, hint, 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 for Alex and others in the room, we'll call it like a dark mode search or some other kind. It's basically where the browser doesn't track your previous searches, right? So you want to come to the computer as if you just moved into the area. You haven't really typed much in, and you want to type in your industry and your city, or a part of the name of your company, and you know, Family Entertainment Center and the city, and just see if you come up. That'll give you a good organic way to see if you're really search engine optimized, if you're out there and people can find you online. And the reason that we encourage that is we'll share some statistics for you in just a minute of why that's so important. But before we get there, let's make sure that you have some basic real estate. Okay, online real estate is a big deal in today's world. Number one, you want to own your own website. You don't want somebody else to own it. You want that domain to be in your control. You're the business owner, and that's a piece of real estate you need to have control over. Okay, unless you're working with a very trusted power partner or something, where they're like basically like family. At the end of the day, you want to have control of that website. Okay. And other platforms that you do not have control of, but you want to be listed on, for sure, they're worth thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing. And most of them are free. Google My Business, make sure you're listed. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're listed on Google My Business so that when people go to search for you, you have all that imagery that's popping up on the right side of a desktop, or just right there front and center on a mobile device, which more than 50% of searches are happening on mobile device now. So either way, you want to make sure that you're listed on Google My Business. It's literally worth tens of thousands of dollars to your company, and it's free. Okay, a little tip for you. And then of course, Facebook pages and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. Look, you just need to be on them. Doesn't mean you need to be active on every single one of them all the time. You just need to be on them and be active on at least 2 of them. Okay, and just get yourself active. And then pretty soon that content you'll be able to just shoot over to some of the other platforms as well. And you'll look like a multi-million-dollar company that's everywhere online, even if you're just in the beginning phases of growing your business. Okay? So either way, you want to look sharp and you want to be everywhere you can. And this usually takes a couple of hours to kind of get these done, but at the end of the day, they're worth a lot for your long-term revenue. Okay? Here's a little tool for you. Some companies will charge for this. This is a visibility scan that will track Google My Business and then match all that information with everything else online when it comes to major directories and citations and different listings that are online for your business, to make sure there's not any outdated information, there's not any missing information. Make sure you're listed where you need to be listed. It's basically the foundation for search engine optimization. It makes it clear to the search engines that you are, in fact, a business that is open to welcome more visitors right now. And this is how you do it, is you go to givermarketing.com/visibility. You can also look under our tools section of our website as well to find this free resource for you. And
that link is in the chat as well, Tim.
Oh, great. Thank you, guys. And that'll spit out a report for you to tell you, and it'll look like this. You'll put in your business name, your location, and then it'll spit out an error rate. And what you're looking for is a 0 error rate. You want to be listed properly on a majority of these directories and online locations for people to be able to find you, right? So that's the visibility piece. All right, let's talk about reputation for just a minute. We don't have too much time to go deep into this, but here's what I got to say. Because 84% of people trust multiple online reviews as much as a friend's recommendation, we need to have high levels of reviews. Back in the early days, 10, 20 years ago, when internet was just kind of starting to ramp up, we didn't need as many, kind words online. We just needed the basic information. But now we need people raving about us everywhere, especially something associated with family and fun and entertainment. Like, we have to have raving fans. If we don't, we're basically telling the online world, or people who would want to come visit us who are moving to the area, or friends of friends, we're just not that interested in what our customers are saying about us. So we want to encourage them to tell us something nice about us online. I don't always call it a review, but at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. So start with Google. It's really easy. You can use that link that's right there. If somebody could put that in the chat box, that's a tool that we don't have on our website. It's kind of just for this presentation here. For those who are here listening and watching, they can access that at no cost. It's a third-party tool that will give you a really easy way to send a link to people through your emails, text messages, social media messages. You can even print out a short link or something at your location, and people will begin giving you reviews. We've helped companies get hundreds and hundreds of reviews. You want to have at least 50 to 100 reviews for your type of business. At that point, you're legitimate. People view you as basically those online reviews as a trusted source of why we would take our family there as opposed to over there.
Hey,
All
Tim,
righty.
so we have a couple questions coming in, if you don't mind, related to
What you
that.
got?
So there is a question that says, is there any way to delete old negative reviews if we've changed policies that make them no longer relevant? I would say, my 2 cents, and feel free to chime in as well. I would say that you don't necessarily need to delete them. I think if you've changed the policies to make things better, I think just take ownership of that. I think it's really important to show that you've noticed that things weren't the best, and because of that, you've changed your policies for the better. And I think people appreciate that a lot more, and the transparency and the openness, rather than trying to hide it.
Brilliant. That's it's a common question, right, Cam? I mean, you get it, I get it. We all get it as we're marketing these our companies. How much time do we want to spend trying to wrestle with some online juggernaut to try to remove one review when we could go get 9 reviews in the time it take for us to try to remove the one? Just respond to it well, with tact. Do not react. You need to respond. And we all know the difference between the two. If we're emotionally intelligent people, we can respond with tactfulness and professionalism, and we'll be fine. Go get yourself 9, 10, 11 more positive reviews and just bury the negative comment. And you can tell I get passionate about this because I've seen people, they will review the wrong company. Very common. So don't even take it personally. Honestly, these people might have driven up to your location, went to a different location, reviewed that company, but they thought it was the original one that they were driving up to. So don't even worry about it. You can't take it. There are some that they're like calling you out by name and all that stuff. Just bury those with good positive reviews. Yep.
Cool.
Good.
Cool.
Great question. Any other questions?
Another question. I'm not sure if it kind of relates to this area, but it could be a good time to go through it. Would you say that stories or posts are more important on Instagram or Facebook, or Instagram/Facebook?
First of all, I'm glad that you're mentioning Instagram and Facebook, because they're the cousins, right? You want to make sure and get those images out on Instagram, anything, and videos as well, specifically, right? So anything that can share your story is going to be more memorable than a regular post. It could be a story through pictures, could be story through video, could be story, a testimonial from somebody sharing a story of how they experienced your company with just a post that way. But just regular posts are actually good, in my opinion, if you pull in third-party credible sources, like maybe some PCS content that just kind of complements what you're already doing, and it just brings credibility to you as you're posting. Your original content only has to be like 30, 40% of the posts. The other stuff can be third-party content from us, from PCS, from trusted sources. You can even use tools. I'll show you at some point. If you hop on one of our future trainings, I'll show you some tools that'll just blow your mind when it comes to social media. Okay?
So I think, Tim, I think as well, he's pointing to stories that are, that they have the 24-hour life cycle. Is it more important to post to those ones that are just little snippets, or posts that stay there on your feed? I would say both are good, because the stories, you know, you kind of take them along into your day-to-day life and, you know, include them, make them feel a part of it. But anything that you want to have longevity, anything that's really important, and that you want people to be able to see, you know, through the lifetime of the business and stay there, that's where I would use the post more often.
Sure, absolutely. And for those that were on our webinar last month, we talked about using stories to help create hype and encouraging your actual customers, the people that are in your facility, to tag you in stories so that you can share those on your page. There is nothing better than having your customers actually post those stories, all excited, being in there, having a good time, having fun. Then their friends see them having fun. Where are you? What are you doing? It's a really great way to push it forward. But as Cam and Tim are both saying, you have to have a mixture of both. A little bit of both goes a long way. Tim, I want to throw you another question that's about reviews right now. Would you generally offer some type of compensation to encourage reviews, say a discount, free item, coupon, etc.? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Unless it's against the rules of the actual platform, like for example, Yelp has some very strict guidelines that if they get any wind of it, they're kind of a weird company anyway, but at the end of the day, you want to give some incentive, a free upgrade for this, or a free extra, when you come back, you get a free, something or other for doing a review. As long as you can see the review and they've actually done it, I would definitely give them a goodie, a soft drink, or a token for something, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be much, just something that says thank you, honestly.
Cool. Thank you. All right.
Cool.
We cleared the queue.
All right, let's roll. So obviously our location is important. Some companies that I coach have forgotten the importance of their location, their signage, and make sure they're clean, they're looking sharp, they're inviting, they're welcoming. It just says come hang out. We just want to make sure that you're always improving not only the online visibility, but the offline visibility, to make sure that you're welcoming and inviting. Oh, by the way, do a test. Look yourself up on Google Maps or whatever map program you use. Some people use Waze or whatever map programs you use on your cell phone, and try to, even though you know how to get to your own facility, try to get to your own facility as if you're a new person in the community, clicking on the map, trying to get to your facility, and you've never been there before. Are you parking across the street? Are you parking, in the actual driveway? Like, where are you ending up based on online mapping capabilities? Because like 80% of people are going to use those maps just to get to your facility. So make sure that experience is seamless. And if there's a sign that needs to be adjusted because of the way the map's bringing people in, then adjust that sign accordingly to make sure that you're visible in conjunction with what's happening in our online world. Make sense? Good. All right, so the visibility homework is back to that visibility scan that we're making sure that you have availability to. Literally use the tool section of our website and then post it into our private group. Awesome. All right, what's the question for promotion, Rebecca? I'm excited about this.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to post this in the chat right now because there are some multiple choice answers. I want to give everyone an opportunity to see them all. So I'm posting it right now. Jump over to the chat. The question is, what brings customers into your facility for the first time? We have some options, some ideas here, so follow along. Number 1, word of mouth referrals. Number 2, special events. Number 3, print ads. Number 4, online ads, promotions. Number 5, radio, podcast ads, or interviews. 6 is television ads or appearances. 7 is something else. And 8 is I don't know. So
All right.
give us some ideas.
Good.
We
I
want to
love
know
it.
what brings people in.
And really 99% of what we do is going to fall under one of those categories. So those are good options. And we actually call this the report method of reviewing the results that are happening within our companies, right? So referrals, events, print, online, radio, television, you're going to cover a good amount of people using those methods, okay? So REPORT. And remember, don't gamble. When it comes to promotion and advertising and getting your offers out there, be sure that you can measure those results. Start with a goal in mind and then work backwards. If you're willing, one good question to ask yourself is, how much would I pay somebody to walk through my front door? Is it a $100 bill? Maybe they're a repeat customer, right? Maybe they love what they've experienced. Maybe they brought their friends next time. Is it $500? You got to have in mind what it would be worth to have somebody walk through your front door. Not even purchase anything. Just walk through your front door and check it out. And in many cases, it's going to be in the hundreds. Okay, so let's think through that of how we would want to welcome more visitors by asking that simple question. All right. So referrals. Hey, real quick, referrals are not just some random act of kindness. This is a system within your company. If you're relying on the goodwill of other people and the good economy that we're in right now, your referrals will go from here to here at some point and then back up and then back down, and you won't have any idea of how to track them or reward people for giving them. So make sure you have a reward system built in based on referrals and reviews like we were talking about before. 10% of your marketing budget should be just zeroed in on referrals. How do we get more people telling more people about what we're doing? Social media, in person, text messaging, like whatever. Find a way to get people to invite other people. Events. Obviously, you're going to offer high value. Now, when I'm talking about events, I'm talking about taking your event center and making something special around it. Or if you're being invited over to another event, like you have a booth at another event, like offer some kind of high value. Do something different. Make sure people remember you. Get that contact information so you can follow up with people, especially if you're in the region that your facility is in. Follow up quickly. This is super important. Don't go to events just to go to events. I mean, we got an event in Orlando in a couple of weeks, right? I'm not necessarily talking about those events unless you're wanting to talk to your vendor and just different people, but localized events where you're invited as maybe a guest, or maybe you're putting on an event at your facility. Make sure it's top notch and it showcases your awesomeness. Okay. Here's a fun example. Just a little company called Chick-fil-A decided to do some fun stuff with their dress up like a cow. They saw a 25% increase in foot traffic when they do that on those days.
Hey, that's a fun day, man.
Right?
I've totally done it. As a grown adult, I've done it.
That's right. I printed something out on my printer and stuck it to my shirt just so I can.
It works.
I love attention anyway. So depending on who you are and what style of company you are, Rebecca and I are all in. Like, find something where somebody dresses up like a superhero, somebody dresses up like something, or prints something out, or does something funny, or comes with their favorite whatever, and canned food drives. Like, print something out that allows people to understand very clearly what this special day is about, what they're going to be bringing, what they're going to be doing, calls to action, and you'll see some fun destination type excitement that happens around this. So we just encourage you to follow the lead of some of these more innovative approaches.
Hey, I want to mention one thing about that, if you don't mind, Tim. And one of the things I find really cool about that whole concept of dress like a cow is you think, oh, that's too hard. I don't have a cow costume. I'm not going to pay $20 to go get a $5 meal or $10 meal. But they actually provide you with a printout that you can cut out the little cow spots just to do yourself. So they not only have the promotion, but they make it really easy for people to participate in it.
Great point. If we make things too hard, we're going to have some participation, but very limited. If we make it easy, so easy to the point to where it's like, hey, if you have any interest at all, let's have some fun together. That's where you want to be. Totally agree. Awesome. All right, so online, we could talk about this for quite a while, but at the end of the day, when it comes to our companies online, and I'm going to pause right here because we have somebody wanting to ask a question, and this is a really in-depth part of the training here. So I want to make sure we have answered any questions as
You
people
want to
are
go to
raising their
questions
hand.
real quick?
Yeah, there's somebody raising their
Okay.
hand, and I want to make sure we get that.
All right, so we've got a couple of questions here. First of all, I wanted to let you know that the answer to the last question, what brings customers in, I would say the number one was word of mouth referrals, and then we have a mixture of some of the others, which was cool. But we
Good.
have a question here from Michelle. Is there any digital software you recommend for collecting leads, i.e. when we go offsite, we have a physical wheel that draws people out to our booth, but haven't found an efficient way to capture names and email addresses. I've seen digital wheels, but haven't been able to track down the software. Any ideas?
I think when you're at like in a booth or something and you want somebody to engage with, especially if you're local at a community event or something and you're just representing your local business, you want to have a good conversation with them. You want to have them like your Facebook page is a great call to action, because then you can go back and look and see who liked your page in the last week or two, and it came from that event most likely, and then you can follow up with them like you would everybody else. It's got to be a system. So you could get more complicated with it. You could have people drop their information on a good old-fashioned sheet of paper, or have them at least get their first and last name, if nothing else, because you can go find them on social media and kind of connect with them that way, follow up with them that way. But Rebecca, are there any software sides of this that you guys would recommend?
Yeah, I wanted to throw one out there. I know that some of these marketing softwares are probably a little bit too high budget. Things like HubSpot and Marketo and some of these tools that you can create landing pages within them. But I do know that within some of the email capture platforms like MailChimp, because I've done it within MailChimp, you can actually create a landing page for free. What that means is you can go in, tell them what data you want to collect, name, email address, etc., and you give people that link, or you can pull it up on your iPad when you're at the event, have someone fill out the form digitally, hit submit, and boom, now you have their information in your email software. So that's an idea that perhaps you could use. That's a little budget friendly.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think you could also, if you're, not tech savvy or can't, get into those kind of programs, you could also have, a box at your booth where everyone drops in their business cards. Because right then and there you have their first, last name, the company that they work for, their, phone number, email, all that kind of stuff. So there's a number of different ways, you don't have to have a super high budget to be able to effectively capture your leads.
Amber just made a really great point in the chat, which I'm so glad that you mentioned this, Amber. Thank you. She said she has had wonderful experience with FetchRev, which is now Hound, HOWND. They help you collect email addresses, birthdays, and things like that. They can really help with your digital footprint. So they go onto your website and have pop-ups and things like that come on your website to capture that information and data. And that their platform actually integrates with Party Center software as well. So you can work it both ways. Thank you, Amber, for throwing that in there.
That's one of the keys, is if something works with Party Center software, why not? I mean, give it a shot and see if you can make it work, because if that works, then you're saving your team hundreds of hours over the long term, especially if you can download that data, get the birthdays going. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. All right, so media posts, social media posts, messaging, email campaigns. We kind of covered a little bit of just using some of these online digital platforms and tools. But let's dig deep a little bit into some of the other aspects of promotion. So when you get the opportunity to go on radio or television, I'm going to put these kind of together. Try for interviews. Then go back to that story that you want to share and just get that story out to as many people as possible. Drop your name a few times in the conversation and you're good to go. You really don't need heavy calls to action. You just need a great story and a way for them to easily find you. Because in today's world, you just Google whatever, like personal names like we were talking about before, and they're going to find you if they're compelled by your story. Now, you can drop in a special event or some different things in the conversation, but usually in an interview, you're actually telling about why you're doing what you're doing, how you're impacting the community, and what your passion is, and those kind of things. That's where people really start responding. The 30-second radio commercials, television commercials, you better track them. Just make sure they're working. If you're going to spend money on those, just make sure they're working. Those interviews is where the gold is. And if you want to put some 30-second spots on top of the interview around it on radio, that's fine. Okay. But just find the interviews, tell your story, give a good call to action, and grab the video or audio file so that you can repurpose it on social media. You'll get way more long-term play by grabbing that file. If you have a friend over at the local television station, even the cable network or whatever, like just get it because it looks like you're a rock star sharing your story. You can put it all over social media. We've had several clients do that and they get years and years of PR from it. It's just amazing. All right, let's talk about some quick steps. A lot of people ask about targeted online ads. I'm going to go through this very quickly just for sake of time. But pay close attention, take some screenshots, ask questions, and we'll get to them if we can, okay? The 5-step guide to promotion. Geo-targeting, sending your advertisement, capture the info, follow up, and then grab that repeat customer, okay? So at the end of the day, you want to do geo-targeting. That means geographically based targeting. Your ideal customer, tell me if this is correct. For most of the businesses listening today, most of your repeat customers are coming from within like 2 to 10 miles of your location. Is that close? There's some that are coming farther than that, but for the majority of the 80% that are always coming back, are they within 10 miles of your location generally? Sometimes, sometimes not. But at the end of the day, if you can target specific people that live and work and frequent the location that you're at within a several mile radius using online platforms and targeting like parents with kids or targeting different even gender, we split test all sorts of stuff like this for our clients to make sure that they're constantly fine-tuning their advertisements so that they're getting better and better and better bang for their buck. And that's the key with online ads. You can't just try it one time and say, hey, that didn't work. You got to try it, test it, retool it, try it, test it, retool it. And quite frankly, the actual information you get back from like a Facebook ad, for example, is worth the actual cost of the ad, just to know who's clicking on it, if the imagery is working, is it females, is it males, or what age range are they in? What location are they clicking from? Like just different data points that come from just running a $100 Facebook ad is worth it just by itself, just to get started, okay? So I want to encourage you to experiment with that. Oh, by the way, you can also target people with upcoming birthdays on Facebook. Hint, 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 right?
Love it.
All right, so you want to make sure that you give some kind of valuable offer at some point for some of these promotions, okay? But you don't want to give away the farm because you'll train your clients and customers and visitors and party attenders to basically look for like the Groupon deal or something, right? Don't do the Groupon approach. Do more like the, hey, it's your birthday, so let's make sure and give you a free pass. Bring your friends and they'll get a small discount as well or whatever. Like, but don't give away the farm. Make sure they understand that this experience you're giving them is full value and we don't have to lose money to put a promotion out there. Can I hear an amen from the crowd? We don't have to lose money when we're putting offers out there. I mean, really, let's make sure that we give good, solid offers for specific people, specific days, specific specific ways, so that you're not just giving a free experience to everybody in the community. It just totally devalues your experience that you're trying to give them. And then forever in their mind, they're going to think, oh man, it wasn't my birthday and I still got a free experience. Like, okay, I don't know. So anyway, that's a recommendation when it comes to pricing your offers and making sure that those are thought through. Make sure and capture that information like we just talked about. If nothing else, you'll be able to send them messages, find them on social media pages, connect with them. If they opt in to like MailChimp, like we were talking about before, you can send them periodic, happy birthday stuff or reminders, special events. It doesn't always, don't just post offers every single time on your social media pages. That's not how you do it. You pull people into a story and experience that others are having, the joy, the fun that's being had is plenty of magnetic pieces for your marketing, okay? Follow up. Make sure that when you get that PCS data coming in for birthdays or last time they were at your facility, make sure that you have it on your calendar when you're going to be connecting with them next. The system has to be in place so you're not even thinking about it. It's already systematized from day one. January 1, you should know who you're going to be contacting with in January for that month for what particular offers or events or whatever you're going to be doing, okay? And the goal obviously is repeat customers. So once we have all that invite, you can, all that information, you can invite them back in memorable ways. Shoot, I mean, even if you wanted to have people calling and saying happy birthday to people like, hey, we know your birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks. You want to come over and have a party? Let's book it right now. Like whatever you want to do, just make it memorable and different. You could do a recorded message just singing happy birthday to them from the team like they do at restaurants or whatever. Like do whatever you want to do. Just make it memorable so that when their special days come up or their parties come up for their team members or whatever they're doing, that they remember you first and not a bunch of other options, okay? It doesn't have to be traditional. It needs to be memorable. That's the most important thing. Fun holidays, birthday reminders, and then we're going to talk about some of the follow-up steps for a good nurturing system as we kind of wrap up with our time today, okay? And I'll go through that very quickly. The promotional homework is just to post an advertisement of some kind on the group page, all right? Do we have time for the question, Rebecca, or what do you want to do there?
You know what? I will throw it in just in case we have the time, but I know that we're running through, and then I'll let you just run through it and we'll go through some questions. So
let's wrap it up.
Throwing it in there, what best describes your marketing capacity or your party booking capacity? Do you have a party or event coordinator? Do you have a salesperson? Do you have a sales team? Or are you all involved in the process of marketing? What best describes you? And if that doesn't fit, let us know what does.
Get kind of a pulse on what's going on there. Okay, good. So nurturing is really just a fancy way to say follow up with the people you care about. Engage your audience with continued intentional conversations. Let's remember that what we're talking about here is not sales. This is marketing, okay? So it's very important that we understand that marketing gets you kind of to that red zone if you're a football fan, and that sales process is what gets you to the sale. Okay, so we just want them to come through the front door, and then how your team treats them is really a matter of revenue generation. Okay. All right, let's jump right into the 7 marketing moments we find to be non-negotiables for most businesses. Okay, and we know that 80% of repeat visits happen after 5 interactions with your brand. That could be before they walk in, that could be after they walk in, during while they're there, whatever. But 5 interactions minimum. So we want to make sure to get that story out there through that introductory process. Somehow they need to learn about your story. Could be on the walls, could be in pamphlets, could be online, could be everywhere. But we want to make sure they understand why you're different than the next fun, family entertainment center down the street or whatever, right? So brief email. Make this a habit. Every time somebody comes in, make sure and download that data, get that data from the Party Center software database, and then shoot them out an email saying, hey, it was so great having you. Here's a couple of options for our next, a way for you to come back, that kind of a thing. Social media, we talked about that a little bit. Make sure and reply to those comments on your Facebook pages and your different pages online, okay? Oh, and by the way, go join those groups, like the parent groups and the moms with kids and the community groups and the church groups. Like, join all those groups so that you can be front and center and just kind of talking about fun things that are happening. Don't spam those people, but just connect with them well. Give something of value, like a gift for the next visit, a community resource. It doesn't have to be connected to your company directly. It just needs to be something of value. It could be a scan to make sure your kids are safe if they were ever lost. Like, it could be anything, something of value that would really be memorable for them, something interesting or fun or valuable. Invite people somewhere, even if it's not in your facility. Invite them somewhere where you're going to be. Maybe you're guest speaking somewhere. Maybe you're representing the community in some way. Invite them to those places. Let them know that you're kind of an authority in the community and a involved owner of the community, okay? Personal notes. Oh, here's a fun one. Send out birthday cards like at the tail end of the previous month and say happy birthday month. And then give them like a little gift card or something. Like, do it way ahead before everybody else sends them a birthday card. You can do that through social media messaging and special way, text messaging. Actually, text messaging is super powerful as well. So you can do that. Holidays, send out holiday stuff like in October, like way early. Get them all lined up for the end of the year, okay? Like, we should be sending out stuff here at the end of December, in December, letting them know about the fun parties we're going to be having the first part of the year. Like, we need to be way ahead of the game, okay? That's the key to marketing. Hey, phone calls, know exactly what questions you're going to be asking when you're talking to people and when they're calling you or you're calling them. Make sure there's great questions prepared. Give options for next steps, but don't give too many options. When it comes to marketing, you want people's minds going to like one or two, A or B. And if they can just pick that way, don't leave long voicemails, ladies and gentlemen. That it is not healthy for your brand to do that, okay? All right, so what's your nurturing or follow-up process? Go ahead and post that in the group page. There's your homework assignments if you want to take a screenshot or if you want to jot those down. This is the blueprint we just went over today as a point of refreshing and reminding. And if there's any last questions as we kind of wrap up, Rebecca, I'm going to hand it back over to you. I can stop sharing if you'd like, but there's the group page.
Perfect. Yeah, leave it on there for a minute so people can copy that over. While we're doing that, we did have a couple of questions. I'll toss at you real quick if everybody's cool with staying on for a couple minutes. So we have, what would you use as your best strategy to create referrals? I know we talked about a lot, so they want your best one, Tim.
So look, I'm in the business to business space at the end of the day, okay? So I'm just going to let you know that some of the best referral strategies for me are on LinkedIn, but for your facilities, what I would recommend is doing some kind of like Facebook referral strategy where you're sending messages out to people that would be your influencers, your repeat customers. Thank them for all the people that they've been bringing in. Like, whatever's praised is repeated. Mm-hmm. So if you praise them, reward them, they will repeat and continue to do that. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Get your top 10 people that seem to always come in with groups and just start giving them good stuff for referring other people into your facility.
Great. Now, I do believe Mercedes had thrown this question out there and said that it was sort of answered, but I want to throw it back out there at you again. Should you infuse non-marketing promotional ads in email marketing, like tips and tricks, just for families, fun things to do around town, etc.?
Heck yeah. That is a great question. And by the way, if we're sending out too many promotions over and over and over again, we become almost like inoculated by the amount of offers that are being sent to us. We're not sure which ones are expiring, when they're not expiring, what's going on there. But at the end of the day, the more value you can give to your actual audience, That's all that matters. It's like making a friend with thousands of people. You want to give them tips, ideas, places to go, safe places to go. When, like in my area, I'm in Northern California. We had a bunch of power outages. I don't know if anybody's heard about any of that stuff, but what a great opportunity to be able to help the community, right? Like tips and places to go and resources to have. Some of our local companies have been great at doing that. So if you find opportunities to just stand out from the crowd and give some good advice, man, you're gonna pull people in like a magnet.
Awesome. Thank you
People
so much,
love-
Tim. Can you swap with me real quick, Tim?
Sure, I'll stop sharing here.
Perfect. Thank you. Go ahead, Cam. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that people love when companies give information that are not constantly self-serving. It just makes you stand out in their eye that you care about them and care about, their happiness and, their activities and what they're doing with their family, instead of always pointing it towards you. And, that's the only avenue for them. And it really changes people's attitudes and perceptions for the better.
Be a giver. Give good information. There's some people, there's a book called Jab, Jab, Right Hook.
Right hook,
where
yeah.
it's basically give, ask. And that's really, over half of your posts should have nothing to do with a promotion.
Yep.
Should have everything to do with what you can do to bless somebody or give to somebody in some way.
Awesome. I love it. Can we all please give Tim a hand for his awesome presentation today?
So
Thank
fun.
you so much. Now, if our guests have questions for you, you can tell your email address here, but I'm going to include it in a follow-up email, so don't worry.
Perfect.
Tim,
Yeah,
what
that
is-
group page, that private group page, if I know that it's coming in here in the next couple of days, I'm going to make sure and accept those. There's usually a cost to that, to being a part of that group page. It's a couple $100 value. One to really just help those who are wanting to learn and grow have access to that. And so I'll make sure and accept those, and then they can ask me questions directly, our team, other business owners. Like, we get some great ideas from just the roundtable discussions.
Awesome. And what are some other good next steps for you, Tim?
Good next steps is to make sure and connect in that group page so that I know that you were, able to grab some value from our conversation today. And when it comes to your businesses, make sure that you have a framework in your mind of the branding. How are we doing there? Visibility. Are we being able to be found? Promotion. Are we doing this without being spammy or devaluing our product? And then nurturing. How are we taking care of the people that we want to follow up with and give them rewards and help them refer us more often? Sometimes the most valuable things we can do are right in front of us. They're so simple, but they have to be repeated on a system. And so that's what we were talking about today, is really a blueprint for you to create a system that would help you.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any feedback or have any topics you'd like us to discuss, please be sure to email marketing@partycentersoftware.com. This podcast is a weekly podcast, so you can expect new episodes every Thursday. Party Center Speaks is powered by Party Center Software. We are a facility management tool that helps family entertainment centers and event venues book more parties and manage their facilities. We also offer marketing services such as custom website design and marketing automations to help you expand your reach and grow traffic. If you'd like to know more about us, head over to partycentersoftware.com and please be sure to give us a follow at Party Center Software on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and at Party Center Soft on Twitter. Until next time, thanks for listening.